Hi, my name is Andrea Aragon. Congratulations on participating in my life. You have been identified as having great potential as a future leader. Way to go. Today I'm going to talk to you about how cool volunteering can be, how important community involvement is, how it can improve your life while helping others at the same time, and I'll touch on the many supportive services that may be available to you, your family, or your friends. I don't know how you feel about it, but when I look back, my middle school years were rough. This was my situation. I was very awkward. I thought it was very ugly. I was a so-so student and very unconfident as a result. Middle school is so tough because it's a time when all you want to do is be cool, hang out with your friends, and try to figure out who you are. Somehow I got through it. Well, I couldn't wait to get into high school, but how could I rise above being that nerdy, awkward girl I was in middle school? How could I make myself stand out? How could I meet new friends and just feel better about myself in general? Well, I stumbled upon my answer by accident. It could be an answer for you. It was the power of volunteerism and community involvement. So here's my story. There was this really cool and nice girl that was a senior when I was a freshman. She was very involved in school activities and everyone knew who she was. She was enthusiastic, happy, smart, and seemed very confident. I wanted to be just like her. One day she came to one of my classes looking for volunteers to help her on a school project. I hadn't done a lot of that type of thing before, but I thought, why not? It was one of the most important things I ever did, and it laid the foundation to my personal success in life. Why? Well, there are a lot of reasons, but mainly because a whole new world was opened up to me by just giving of my time. Number one, I met so many new people. I finally felt like I belonged. Number two, I learned a lot, like how to work in a group or how to speak in front of others without feeling like I was going to throw up. As time went on, I grew more confident because I took on responsibility and I was learning that I could be a leader too. Did I ever fail? Did I ever make a fool of myself? Oh yes, and I still do. One of the greatest leaders in history, Winston Churchill, said, "Success is not final, failing is not fatal, but it is the courage to continue that counts." Remember that. But getting back to why volunteerism is so important, lo and behold, it actually felt good to help, really good. As I became more confident, I was able to figure out what I was passionate about. This is the key to becoming successful. Finding your passion. What do you like to do? What do you enjoy the most? Focus in on that passion and knowledge and success is sure to follow. Volunteering and being active in my high school gave me so much more than I ever put into it. The same can be said of community involvement. There are so many organizations that would love to have young people like you help their cause. Interested in animals? There's a lot of local shelters that could use your hard work, your care, your compassion. Do you care about people who have hit hard times? Maybe you could help at a local food pantry. I promise that if you volunteer, you will feel good. You might even feel great. And the best thing is, you will help other people feel great too. You know that old saying, it's better to give than to receive? Believe it or not, it's true. And let's be real, you never know when you, your family, or someone you know might need help. We've all been there. I have. Over 20 years ago, I lost my father in a tragic accident. My world was rocked. I had never experienced such grief or despair. After months of struggling, I finally got help from several organizations, one that specialized in suicide prevention and another that helped with grief counseling. After getting help, I was able to slowly improve the depression and anxiety I experienced. I can now cope with my grief because of community organizations and their volunteers that exist to support people like you and I. Maybe you won't need it, and I hope you don't. But if you do, there are a lot of resources out there. There are so many things you can do to help your community, and there are so many organizations that need you, want you, and believe in you. Without volunteerism, community involvement, and support, I wouldn't be who I am today. Because of my volunteerism in high school, I developed the skills that led me to be on student council, serve as a peer counselor, and I became known as a student who could get things done. This led me to my college path at CSU Pueblo, where I was the first in my family to attend college. I was a DJ on Rev 89, which was so much fun. I was an orientation leader and got involved in my community by helping raise scholarship dollars for the Pueblo Hispanic Education Foundation. After my college graduation, I went on to get a fellowship with our U.S. Congressman at the time, working in Pueblo and Washington, D.C. I was actually able to attend speeches made by the President Clinton at the time. I met astronauts, senators, future governors, and even a few movie stars. After my time in Washington, D.C., I was the first executive director of the Latino Chamber of Commerce, an organization that helps small businesses and minority businesses thrive. I went on to serve as an on-air community relations correspondent at a TV station in Florida. I came back to Colorado and worked at my alma mater, CSU Pueblo, for a time, and then spent 17 years as the president CEO of United Way of Pueblo County. It was there that I learned from the other side just how valuable volunteers were in a big way. Now I am the executive director of the Robert Hoag Rawlings Foundation, which supports nonprofit organizations that provide those important community support services we talked about earlier. So many who rely on volunteers to help make life better for all of us. My life has been made so much better because of volunteerism, community involvement, and community support systems. You have the power to do the same. Gandhi, who was one of the world's greatest change agents, said this, and I can't emphasize this enough: the best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in service to others. I challenge you as a future leader to try it. In the end, I promise you won't be disappointed. Thank you and best wishes to you. Your future is bright.